My daughter is spoiled by my wife. Now her entitlement is hurting our son.
Get rid of both of them.
No more children allowed.
Just out.
I, 38 male, have 2 kids, Mark, 13 male, and Lily, 11 female. To give some context, Lily is really spoiled by my wife, Sarah, 37 female. Ever since Lily was little, Sarah has been overly indulgent with her, letting her stay up late, buying her whatever she wants, and pretty much excusing all of her behavior, no matter what. By the way, this story comes from user everydamage9376, and if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. It's made Lily feel entitled, especially when it comes to Mark. She doesn't have much respect for his privacy and constantly tattles on him for the smallest things, knowing her mom will take her side.
So she's a snitch.
Well, also, she's an 11-year-old younger sibling. At first, it was small stuff. Mark didn't make his bed. Mark stayed up too late. But over time, it has escalated. She started reporting anything that seemed even a little bit off. Mark didn't say hi to me when he got home. Mark left his shoes in the hallway. Given all of the tattling, it's like Lily has just a mental list of everything Mark's ever done wrong, and no matter how trivial, she'll run straight to Sarah to tell on him. Mark is 13, and like most teens, values his privacy and independence. He spends time with his friends and is starting to navigate more personal parts of his life. But Lily, with her constant monitoring, makes it impossible for him to have any space. There's no escaping it. And the real breaking point for Mark came when Lily somehow found out about his crush on a girl at school. I honestly don't know how she found out. Mark didn't tell her, and he definitely didn't want her to know. He was on the phone with a friend, but Lily must have overheard something. The next thing he knew, Lily was making comments about it, like, "So, you like that girl, huh?" Mark was mortified. He hadn't shared that with anyone, let alone his 11-year-old sister. And then, of course, Lily went around telling all their friends at school. Mark felt completely humiliated. When Mark tried to tell Sarah about it, she dismissed his feelings, telling him to stop being dramatic. That's when Mark decided he needed space. He couldn't take it anymore, so he started avoiding Lily as much as possible. The issue really came to a head the other day. I came home from work and saw Mark sitting on the couch with Lily. They were watching a show, and I thought maybe they were getting along. But then I realized they were watching a show that Lily liked and not one they both enjoyed. Lily was bossing Mark around about how he should be watching it or how he was sitting too far from the TV. Mark got frustrated and stormed off to his room. Lily, of course, immediately started crying, but it was so obviously fake. I could see right through it. She ran to Sarah saying Mark was being mean to her, and that's when Sarah went upstairs to talk to Mark. I stopped her before she could go up, telling her I'd handle it. I went upstairs to check on Mark, and he finally opened up to me. He told me that it wasn't just about the show, it was just everything. He couldn't trust Lily anymore because of her constant snitching and invading his privacy. He told me he was tired of being made to feel like he was in the wrong no matter what he did. And yeah, instead of just telling your wife, Sarah, like, don't worry, I'll handle it, you should have been like, hey, here's what's reality. Here's what really just happened. I literally watched it with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, there seems to be like a lack of communication on the dad to the mom, the dad with both of the children.
Yeah, the final straw was Lily outing his crush to everyone at school, which we already knew about. He said he couldn't have any peace or privacy when she was always watching him and reporting back to Sarah. So now Mark is refusing to be around Lily. He's 13 and he deserves to have some space, but Sarah is pushing me to punish him for ignoring her, saying he's being mean to Lily by not spending time with her. She's even giving me the silent treatment now. She's upset that I'm not backing her up on this and that I'm not punishing Mark for not getting along with Lily. Every time I try to talk to her, she shuts down, won't engage, and just gives me the cold shoulder. Honestly, I'm feeling caught in the middle. I understand Sarah wants them to get along, but I don't think Mark should be forced to spend time with Lily if it's just going to be another situation where she invades his privacy and tattles on him. He needs boundaries and he needs to be able to have a private life, especially as a teenager. But it feels like Sarah doesn't see it that way. She thinks I'm being too lenient with Mark and not holding him accountable. So am I the a-hole for not punishing my son for wanting space from his sister, especially after she found out about his crush and made it public, and after my wife started giving me the silent treatment? And there's the update.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X is. Well, let's get back to the story.
Honestly, from what's been said here, it's a no, right? Like,
There's context that the wife is holding that is incorrect. She is not seeing what you are saying, and maybe you're not seeing some of what she's saying. Regardless, there's context that each parent is holding that is different than the other parent. And until there could be like a shared agreement, I imagine that both of you would, in the most ideal form of your marriage, want to be able to be partners in parenting. And if you're not able to come to a shared understanding, there probably shouldn't be any decisions being made. And so I'm not sure how to go about it if Sarah's not even open to the conversation at all. But it seems like that's the thing that needs to happen before anything is moved upon with the children at all.
First, I want to thank everyone again for your comments, even the harsh ones. They made me take a long, hard look at this situation and realize just how much it's been affecting Mark and our family as a whole. I decided to have a serious conversation with Sarah about her favoritism towards Lily and how it's been hurting Mark. I explained how dismissing Mark's feelings and excusing Lily's behavior has created a toxic environment where Mark feels unsupported and disrespected. I brought up specific examples like Lily outing his crush and how it humiliated him, and her constant tattling that makes him feel like he has no privacy. Unfortunately, the conversation didn't go as I hoped. Sarah completely denied showing favoritism and instead doubled down, saying Mark was just being a bad child and that his avoidance of Lily was mean and immature. She kept defending her actions, saying she's only trying to keep the peace and make them get along, but it was clear she wasn't willing to acknowledge her role in the problem. No matter how much I tried to stay calm and explain where I was coming from, she refused to see my point of view. Eventually, I realized we weren't getting anywhere and I didn't want the conversation to escalate into a fight, so I left the room and went upstairs to talk to Mark instead. When I got to Mark's room, I sat down with him and told him the truth, that I love him and that I know things have been unfair to him. I admitted that I hadn't done enough to protect him from the situation with his mom and sister, and I promised him that I'm going to do better. I told him I see how much he's been hurting and that his feelings are valid, even if not everyone in the house is acknowledging them right now. Mark seemed surprised, but relieved.
That's actually so sweet.
Yeah, I feel like that was the perfect way to go about it.
Well, he's actually getting some attention and,
Yeah.
some love.
At least acknowledgement. I don't understand how being a stone wall in this situation from like Sarah's perspective, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to the scenario because it's not about the scenario. There's so many more things outside of this.
You're seeing you got the X-ray specs on. You're seeing beyond this.
Yeah.
Mark seemed surprised but relieved. He told me how much it's been weighing on him and how alone he's felt lately. It broke my heart to hear how much he's been holding in, but I reassured him that he's not alone and that I'm in his corner. I told him I'd work on fixing the issues with Sarah and Lily, but in the meantime, I'm going to make sure he feels supported and respected. I know this is only the beginning and it's going to take time and effort to fix what's been broken, but I refuse to let Mark feel like he's second best in his own home anymore. He deserves better and I'm committed to giving him that. Thank you again for giving me the push I needed to start making changes. I'll try and keep you all updated. Many of you guys have been telling me to take Mark and leave and get a divorce, but I am scared of divorce because I live in California and I searched it up and everything is split 50-50 and I'm not even in a good financial state right now with my wife spending on herself and Lily. Tonight, I'll talk to my wife and have an ultimatum. If she does not agree to treat Mark fairly and punish Lily correctly, then we will have a divorce. So yeah, there's no way this is just about the kids. This is not an issue you divorce over. This is how I'm seeing it, right? Life is unfair. Fundamentally, there are things that will always happen that are not fair and not ideal. And right now, Mark is experiencing the unfair. So this is a great teaching opportunity where you go, look, sometimes things aren't going to line up right for you, but you need to be able to have the self-assuredness and the self-respect to know when you're in the right and when things are just like unnecessarily dramatic. I've given an ultimatum to treat Mark fairly and punish Lily correctly, and if that cannot happen, we will have a divorce. Wow. But still, I might not go that way, since as I said before, I don't want to split 50-50 since I'm in a bad financial state. Can you guys please tell me a way to take care of this? And I don't have enough money for a good lawyer, so don't suggest it. I want to suggest to you right now to go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. And you know what? It's a great alternative to therapy is listening to our podcast as much as possible.
I don't know. You're just going to see me looking into the distance, frustrated, and having an existential crisis every time.
You don't need to see it. You can just hear his silence on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Just search OK Storytime. You can listen to us for days, literally days, for more than a month straight. So I see a lot of comments here where it's like, yes, therapy, family therapy. I feel like that is very important. Probably. Again, I love that what you said earlier where it's like leading with curiosity, where it's like instead of being like, because clearly Sarah is resistant to anything that has to do with this conversation about Lily. So take that completely off the table. Don't make this about Lily. Don't make this about Mark. Just make it about you and your wife and say, like, how do you feel about us right now? Do you feel like maybe we could benefit from like talking to somebody? You know, having a conversation. Like,
I agree. Take the pressure off of this scenario and then just approach it more generally through like, can we talk about us? And maybe like, I want to have a great relationship with you.
Right,
I want to feel connected to you. How can we go about like creating that together?
I like what Duchess said. I just don't see the wife agreeing to therapy when she won't even talk to OP and double down about Lily being right in her treatment of Mark. We don't know until we actually try, but